Me and Puff, like, we hadn't had no problem for years. Even after that, like, it was cleaned up quick and we was in a good spot.
Right.
But, you know, Puff was on the song that I had on off season, and like, so we was gonna put it out thinking like, yo, it's cool. Like, enough time has passed, he ain't gonna feel no way, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And then all the shit happened with him.
Right.
And I was just like, nah, it felt like damn near like kicking a man when he's down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It was like, it would have gave the news in the world more ammo.
I got what you're saying.
Just destroy this dude.
Yeah, it wasn't a good time to put it out.
It wasn't a good time.
The discussions from prominent artists.
I mean, this might be a bit controversial, but in the same way, I think many people choose to look past the reality of what our country is, the standards that we now stand on. We can't ignore the reality of the history. But in many ways, I think certain people are prosecuted and maybe not recognized for the greatness, you know, that they offer. I don't have anything negative to say about Sean Combs because my experience was not what the world has seen and how he's been, you know, misrepresented. I'm not saying that every man is perfect. I'm not saying that all of us don't have flaws, but I can't, with any sense of humanity, not recognize the valuable contributions that this man made for us as Black entrepreneurs.
Choosing to, it seems, treat Diddy with kid gloves.
Hold on, yeah, we in Miami. Fuck it, let's go. Free Puff, by the way. They tried to hang my dog on some bullshit. Just because a nigga like to get nasty, they tried to hit him with the book of words. Yeah.
From Usher to J. Cole, or even proclaiming flat-out innocence from Jay Electronica. My question is simple. Why?
New surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs wearing only a towel, assaulting his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video. There is no audio. According to the complaint, Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye, which, according to the lawsuit, prompted Ventura to try and leave the hotel room. The surveillance video obtained by CNN begins as she enters the hallway. The complaint says, as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her. The complaint goes on to say he grabbed her and then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her. In the surveillance video, Combs can be seen grabbing Ventura and throwing her to the ground. As Ventura lies on the ground, Combs then kicks her twice and attempts to drag her on the floor back to the hotel room.
Like, really, why defend him or do this for him?
With accusations so salacious, it was emblazoned with a trigger warning on the first page.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, accused of rape, sex trafficking by his ex-girlfriend.
Describing the music mogul as a vicious, cruel, and controlling man.
The singer Cassie says the incidents occurred throughout her 10-year relationship with Combs.
Cassie saying she was subject to savage beatings set off by Diddy's uncontrollable rage. The lawsuit claiming he plied her with drugs and forced her to have days-long sex sessions with male sex workers, a practice the suit says Diddy dubbed freak-offs, language now echoed by the federal indictment against him. Joy Dickerson-Neal claiming Combs drugged and raped her when she was a student at Syracuse University. The next day, Jane Doe, later named as Liza Gardner, claiming Combs and R&B singer Aaron Hall plied her with drinks and forced her to have sex when she was just 16 years old. Combs and his lawyers labeling the suits as nothing more than a money grab. The dominoes keep falling. Another lawsuit, another Jane Doe, alleging when she was 17, Combs and two others gave her drugs and alcohol, then took turns raping her. A month later, a male accuser, music producer Rodney Jones, comes forward claiming Combs groped and sexually harassed him and alleging Combs forced Jones to have sex with prostitutes. Diddy's attorneys calling the accusations, quote, replete with blatant falsehoods.
Cassie filed her lawsuit. That opened up the floodgates, and there was this avalanche of civil claims that also helped inform prosecutors as they built a criminal case against Sean Combs. It's on tablets, it's on phones, because according to federal prosecutors, Sean Combs liked to film himself and others in sexual situations. Combs faces 3 federal charges. Racketeering conspiracy, a RICO case, is probably the most serious and expensive and covers about 20 years of alleged criminal conduct. He also faces sex trafficking and prostitution charges. And taken together, federal prosecutors allege that for years, Combs has coerced, forced women into sexualized situations against their will, threatened them with violence if they didn't participate, and brought male prostitutes into a relationship.
Very quickly, if you can, become a paid channel member or go to Buy Me a Coffee to support this channel. Thank you. Now, we saw how it played out.
After weeks of testimony in the rap mogul's sex trafficking trial, a New York jury has issued its verdict. Combs was found not guilty on count 1, racketeering conspiracy. As to count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, which pertained to victim 1, Cassie Ventura, he was also found not guilty. On count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution, also pertaining to victim 1, Cassie Ventura, and commercial sex workers, he was found guilty. Combs was found not guilty on count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, which pertained to victim 2, aka Jane. And count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution, also pertaining to victim 2, Jane, and commercial sex workers, he was found guilty. Since May, the prosecution has been arguing that the Bad Boy Records founder had used his sprawling network of employees to carry out illegal activity, including orchestrating days-long freak-offs that required an onslaught of illegal substances and sex workers around the country. Clark had testified that Combs forced her to go with him to, quote, kill rapper Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Muscudi, after learning about his romance with Combs' ex, Cassie Ventura, whom the music mogul dated on and off from 2007 to 2018.
Sean Diddy Combs has been sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. Over the summer, the music mogul had been found guilty on prostitution-related charges.
But the reactions? Incredibly disappointing. When Usher was asked what word comes to mind when hearing Sean Diddy Combs' name, he would reply, legacy. He was rightfully criticized for this.
The world saw that video of Diddy dragging Cassie down that hotel hallway and hitting her upside her head. I wonder if Usher thinks that we're misrepresenting that footage. And you know another black man like Diddy who was influential and helped pave the way for black men in the entertainment industry? Bill Cosby, who drugged and essayed several women, who recently just lost a lawsuit and has to pay almost $60 million to one of his victims from the 70s. Should we just overlook this because of how influential Bill Cosby was?
Usher would go on to say in that interview, and I do quote, so many people benefited from what he created, and I acknowledge that. That's who I see that man as, and that's what I choose to remember. I put respect on his name because I realize that what I learned as a businessman before I even understood what business was came as a result of seeing the incredible things that he was able to do and the way that he positioned himself as a businessman.
The tape of him and Cassie at that hotel is literally on video, and we've seen it with our own eyes. Now, Usher did go on to say that no man is perfect and that Diddy should be acknowledged for his legacy and all that he's done in the community and for the industry. Now, I also think it's important to acknowledge that Usher has said in past interviews that while he was at Diddy camp living with Diddy, that he did see a lot of inappropriate things and he was in a lot of spaces that he does not think that kids should be in, and that he would never send his kids to Diddy camp. But to me personally, it feels like people keep trying to use Diddy's legacy to try to change the narrative or deflect from what has happened or come out about Diddy.
Usher would continue to make news, and it would be this. He announced a tour with Chris Brown. Take that as you will. With Jermaine Cole, One fan said they are starting to reconsider some things after his interview with Cam. The audacity to state that you don't want to kick someone when they're down, when this image exists everywhere, is peak irony.
But if I told you that that man has a visual of him kicking a woman quite literally while she's down, kind of changes things, doesn't it?
Cameron asked Cole about an incident involving Diddy many, many years ago, and legend has it Diddy, who was drunk, tried to confront Kendrick Lamar after his Control verse, which was awesome. Diddy, the verse obviously, Diddy allegedly tried to pour his drink on Kendrick, to which J. Cole intervened. The two rappers physically clashed, according to eyewitnesses, who also said that their respective crews got involved. Cam and Cole would laugh it off in a video on Revolt, the company that Diddy co-founded. More irony there.
Like, what do you mean you're worried about Diddy's mental state because of what he's going through and due to the actions that he's done, while also hopping on your new album and talking about how like gay men have AIDS and then gay niggas be dying from AIDS, and also dropping the hard R, not the hard R, the R word on Jodeci Freestyle with Drake. And then the shit with No Name, bro. Like, he just, I don't know what the hell Kobe thinking, bro. And what he said on that Cameron interview sounds like intelligent and like the right thing to do if you're just ignorant to the whole situation, or like you just don't care about like the treatment of like women or like sex workers.
Then there's Jay Electronica, who just comes out and says it.
This is what I have to say to Jay Electronica, okay? Unfortunately, you think that he just went to jail for being freaky. So that means whether you watched the news, read his case, you saw what Diddy did, and you said, oh, this is nothing.
Wild 941 gave their recap of these recent events. Electronica's allegiance to Diddy goes back to 2009 and the hit Exhibit C, where he mentioned Bad Boy Records founder, and continues through a written testimony leaflets released in 2025, which featured Diddy on the intro. The moment is now without context. Electronica also appeared at the New York City courthouse to support Combs during his trial. Quite honestly, you know what all of this reminds me of?
Yeah, so Donald Trump, again, you know, say what you want about him. The guy saw this thing coming, was into it, and gave us our first shot, and you'll never hear me say anything bad about Trump.
That interview Dana White gave to Graham Bensinger. More on that in a moment. Michael C. Arsenault for HuffPost titled the piece, Usher and J. Cole are paving the way for Diddy's comeback. We can't allow it. In the coming months, more men like Usher and J. Cole will try to rehabilitate Diddy in similar fashion. Weak caveats, it reads, about his grievances with no real interrogation of the harm he brought to the culture. It won't be long before he's released, professing to be a changed man and ready to claw his way toward a comeback. His peers owe us more than silence, and it is up to us not to let him or his famous enablers make that comeback easy. With that Dana White clip, I just see the similarities, and it is this. This person helped me get to this point. This person has provided me with a lot of perks in life. They elevated my own career. They will do, maybe in some cases, anything for me. And I will not speak ill of them because I am grateful. Here's the thing. A lot of people see through this logic in the year of our Lord 2026, where if you have someone who is on tape committing acts of domestic violence, you have someone who has been charged with some of the crimes that they are alleged to have committed, and they are serving time, where is your red line? Because what it's telling me is you don't have one. And also the irony in all of this, they are defending Diddy when he's on tape, kicking and hurting Cassie. Meanwhile, Dana White is doing the same for Donald Trump. And Dana White is a man who also committed an act of domestic violence against his wife in Cabo San Lucas on New Year's Eve. Peak.